Welcome back to another present not past podcast episode. So it has been a while, but I got a good episode for you guys today. So let's just get started because I have missed talking to you guys because this is an outlet for me. So today the topic is about me separating myself from my dad's side of the family. So I feel like this is a common thing for people to not get along with certain sides of the family, but never really talked about in specifics. Everyone has their own reasons, and I'm here to share mine because I know plenty of people are probably going through what I'm going through, and I want to just share my advice because this episode is about growth. So there are some negative things, but it ends up in a positive. So yeah. So for whoever doesn't know, I'm very open about my trauma, especially on my podcast, and how I'm just trying to grow from that and not let it define me as a person and not let it make me like not grow basically. So this podcast does revolve around my trauma, specifically this episode. And to give you guys a little brief of everything, my name is Cassandra, and I'm very open about my sexual abuse and how I was sexually abused as a child and how that has affected me, especially because the person who abused me was in my life constantly, like nothing had happened, and it took a toll on me until this year. I have not seen him at all this year, which is amazing. It's honestly let me grow as a person, let me heal a bit. So, kind of correlates because the abuser is my uncle. Okay, that's not a clapping moment. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to figure out ways to cope. Sometimes I just make jokes for those who might be concerned. And yeah, so my dad's side of the family, to put it into some small words, decided to side with him instead of me. So yeah, I'm kind of over that. I'm not gonna talk about too much of that right now, and just kind of let you guys know that I found out my sister was involved. So that immediately made me snap, and I'm cutting all ties with anyone who disrespects my sister. So easy as that. And that made me learn that I should not be walked around and walked over a lot and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a little summary. I really want to talk about how a lot of people always say that family is first, and how those people are always going to be there for you over anyone else, blah blah blah. And like, I have a very strong opinion over that just because my family has been involved through all my trauma, and I could say that family should not be prioritized unless like you choose that to be your family, if you understand what I'm saying. Because the same way some of my friends, I consider them family because I would like take a bullet for them, and that's like how I would consider family is chosen family. I would not say necessarily blood is always worth prioritizing, especially not over yourself. Let me say that. And I know it's hard for people to admit that as well, like that family can change, and just letting people like step all over you because they're family, and just making so many excuses because they are family, or other people making excuses for you because they're family. That's super important because I have been put in that situation where other people would say other families are not in the right, but like their actions should be excused because they're family, and I should respect them because they're family, even though they didn't respect me. So I honestly feel like that's super important to talk about. And I'm mostly like wanting this episode to educate people, but especially to educate those that are in my position where especially I know in like a lot of Hispanic household, this is happened often where your family, especially if it's like in family abuse, like they don't really care that much. So this is for you, and this is for family members who like are in the position of my family members that have a family member that was abused. This is how you probably shouldn't act. Yeah, I will say that it was very challenging for me to always see people kind of share their opinions on how important family is, and how family should always like be number one and blah blah blah. It, for one, like made me feel very conflicted, just because I was questioning myself, and honestly, like I felt sometimes like I would kind of blend into the sheep, and like follow. So yeah, and then sometimes I would kind of just feel like the world was against me, like my opinions were so different from everyone else's, and that I was somehow in the wrong because I didn't really I don't really care about family like that, like family in general, but if you're talking about like chosen family, that's more important to me. Um so like right now, my immediate family, that's probably like the most important people in my life, my parents and my siblings. Um and that's honestly the only like family I need, extended family. Um Only a handful of people I really like care about. Um and again, there's a handful of people I don't care anything about, and I wish them the worst. I wish them the worst. This next thing that I want to go over is directed to people that have been assaulted, and I've been in my situation, to put it into perspective on my situation. I was assaulted at 8 years old, maybe like 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks after. I was like 5 feet away from my assaulter, maybe even closer. And again, I lived in a dead end street when I was around that time, and I lived kind of like in the middle of the dead end street, and my abuser lived all the way at the end, so right next to each other. And I kind of had to get to the point where I had to get used to that, because if I didn't, I probably wouldn't be here if I didn't somehow cope. Like I had to learn to think what happened to me was okay and what was normal, and that like an apology could be accepted for that, which it cannot. Like, I'm sorry, but I will never forgive anyone who does those kinds of things. If anything, I'll forgive myself for ever thinking it was in any way my fault, and for forgiving myself for letting myself be around that person. Anything like that, I'll forgive myself, but never that person. Yeah. So yeah, I had to be around that person for, I was 8, I'm 21, over 10 years. And for a while, again, like I said, I had to kind of believe that it was okay. So there's a point where it hurts me to say, but like I would be around him, and like I wouldn't really care like what happened. And I was maybe like, I think it was before high school, so probably middle school, because I was probably like in 3rd grade when everything happened. So 4th grade up to maybe like 9th grade is when I like let it be known in my head that it was okay. But again, it was just like a coping mechanism for myself to not freak out. And yeah, I talked to my therapist a lot about this, because that is why I'm going to therapy. So she kind of, because this is something that I obviously feel guilty, because I had to kind of, just thinking about myself being around him, it makes me feel so like weird, like so like I disrespected myself. And my therapist kind of lets me know that I should not feel that way about myself, because I was protecting myself in a way. I was like protecting my peace and all that. And obviously, as I grow, become an angry teenager and all that, that's kind of when I start to figure out, okay, maybe this isn't okay. I feel uncomfortable around this person. This person did so many like horrible things to not only me but to other people. So that's kind of when I started to cry every single night. I just, like, I didn't even love myself. Like, it was just so bad. Like, I would start talking to my teachers, which helped me a lot. Like, I bonded with a teacher of mine a lot because she was just the only one that was there for me. I kind of felt like she was the only one that actually cared. So yeah, and to kind of also share the last experience, well, one of the last experiences I had with an aunt of mine from my dad's side. It was Christmas, not last year, the year before, I believe. And I saw that my assaulter came, and I obviously wasn't happy with that. So I kind of just started crying because that's kind of what happens. I have PTSD, so seeing him, hearing him, anyone talking about him, it's PTSD. So I'm gonna feel these emotions, and I'm gonna start to like panic, hyperventilate, all of these things. So I kind of was just crying. I kind of went to my bed just to, 'cause I felt safe on my bed. And my aunt decided to, in front of my sister and my other aunt, which my other aunt is younger than me, and I was told that she never knew what happened to me because they were trying to protect her. Crazy, right? Crazy. So she kind of started telling me, like, if I'm gonna be acting like that they're just gonna leave. Insane. My sister was pissed off because who the fuck says that when someone's like, I don't know how, but yeah, and I kind of just said, like, no, I don't want insert my other aunt's name to leave because I know my sister would get along with her a lot. And I can't really explain why I was acting like that because I was told that she didn't know, and in my head I was like, I don't want all of these secrets to come out and then, something bad happens and she falls into a depression, blah blah blah. So yeah, I always, again, as a kid, felt the urge to protect others instead of myself, put others' feelings instead of my own first. And I highly recommend, if you're in my position, to like also not do that. Please prioritize yourself. Please seek external help. It's so much better to hear an opinion from someone that's unbiased. And to those family members who are listening, or even friends, anything like that, and you have anyone in your life that has gone into a similar situation as me, because when I was in elementary, and I had recently gone through what I had gone through, I also do want to mention that I knew it was wrong right away because my mom taught me that no one should be, touching my private parts. So I do want to share that I told my parents right away about what happened to me. And I had a friend in elementary that let me know that something odd was happening in her life. Older man was or had done some weird things, but she was just scared because her mom would get her in trouble. And it just kind of she told me not to tell anyone, but in my position, I have to tell my mom, and I told her not to tell anyone, but my mom was like, no, I have to let her mom know to take her to the police station because this man needs to be behind bars. And my friend's mom did get a bit upset at her, but I think it was honestly more kind of upset because she didn't let her protect her. And I hope it wasn't in a bad way. We were still friends after that because I had good intentions, and I think she knew that, and maybe it was some weight lifted off of her chest. So I kind of want to share that because I've been in both situations. There's just so much that could affect someone that has been assaulted in general. Their mood just sometimes being off, or maybe a lot of times being off. It could be because of that. Whether they've told you or not, that's something. Just being depressed, isolating themselves, visible signs of not loving that person not loving themselves. For me, I didn't take care of myself at all. I did not care about my appearance, nothing of that. I felt so unworthy of love. And it's weird how that situation could really play into feeling unworthy of a lot. That's just a brief. And then I'll just kind of share a more in-depth of everything. I kind of wanted to give you guys some backstory, just some information about me and how everything did play out. I will let you guys know that it was the beginning of the year, had some like little family issues, and I would assume that my sister got some PTSD or something sparked up where she let me know that she was also assaulted by the same person as me. And that did crush me because the reasoning for me to stay a little bit sane was I protected my siblings, right? It happened to me, not to them. So you can only imagine how I felt, but I also can't imagine how my little sister felt. It was just like a horrible, horrible thing that happened to her. You know, we came together as a family. Everyone was just in disbelief and was just so saddened by the news because that is my little sister. She is the baby of the house. You know, everyone loves and wants to protect her. So we called my aunt because I'm not honestly sure why. It's just what happened last time with me. They called my dad's mom and my aunt, and you know, they came over to the house. Everything was talked about and stuff. So when she came to the house, at first she kind of seemed like sincere. Like it was maybe like 2 in the morning, so she was like, oh, kind of like insinuating that she loved us because it was like we woke her up and she came. But she kind of like asked my sister what happened, and I let her know what happened to my sister because my sister told me that like she wanted me to tell my parents because okay, if you have ever been in that position or in any position where something's hard to like say, like you have to gather so much courage to, it's just hard to say that once and to have to repeat yourself over and over again. It's a really hard situation. So my sister trusts me enough to let others know what happened to her. So I told my parents and I was telling her, and she was like, I guess it felt to me like she was giving me attitude, like I'm not talking to you is what she would say to me, which I felt disrespectful because that's my sister and I'm talking for her. And if you know my sister at all, one thing about her is that she is very like she'll let you know her opinion on something. So if she ever felt like something I was saying was wrong, she'd cut me off and let me know that's wrong. So it wasn't like I was speaking for her, like I wasn't like giving my opinion on her situation. I was directly saying what she was thinking and what I felt was best for her. And what I mean by that is, so after that, like my sister kind of reiterated what I said because my aunt wanted to hear it again. Stupid. But my sister kind of just said what I said. And she asked my sister what she wanted to do because, well, you know, this is a big thing. So did she want to, you know, file a case or what? And I kind of spoke for her and said, yes, like, come on, what? We're going to file her case. And my sister, like, it would be so important for her to go in therapy because I can only imagine how much she's been holding in. So, my aunt decided to, again, be rude to me. I'm not talking to you. And put her opinion on it and say, well, those cases are never looked upon. Those cases never make it a trial. You're not going to win. Like, what? And, like, she said from experience because she has put her money into an abuser and defended him in court. Yep. So, she decided to go to the room with my mom and kind of, like, I guess talk in private, which is done because it's my sister's situation. So why would you need to talk in private for that? And when she came out, she basically said that if that's what we're gonna do, then the family's gonna be split, like if it wasn't already split. And my sister didn't care, honestly. And I forgot. Oh, she said what made me the maddest is, that's my brother, so I'm gonna defend him. And I said, that's my sister. Like, the fuck? Like, I kind of was laughing because how, like, dare you say that in front of my sister? Like, what? And my sister also was like, don't talk to my sister like that because she was just being rude to me. So we both just told her, bye. Like, hello? Get the fuck out. And that was, like, the last time we've ever had a conversation with her. Or, like, honestly, anyone in that family. Besides, like, an aunt, which now, again, cutting off anyone that associates himself with that family, with that person, because put up boundaries, people. Please put up boundaries. Super important. My boundaries were, I don't want to associate myself with that person. If anyone in my close circle does, I'm gonna let them know. I don't feel comfortable with that. So yeah. My grandma and aunt protect the person who abuses me, so obviously, like, I'm not gonna want anything to do with them. I have, like, no respect for them, honestly, because I feel no respect, and I feel no respect for my sister. My youngest aunt, cutting her off because she apparently knew and kind of made me just feel dumb, and still, like, associates herself with those people. And my other aunt, because she still thinks there's some good in her brother. There's not. And that is everything, guys. I want to just share a little update on my life, cutting those toxic people off. And I really hope you guys do the same, because it's super important to just cut off people who are just weighing you down. I have done so much better this year because those people are not in my life anymore. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, let me know. And let me know what else you guys want me to talk about. As always, you're important, you matter, and you're loved. Bye, guys.